a direct way to communicate my ideas without having to explain them. And over time, I became more interested into what an image represents rather than just how it looks. Earlier in the year, I experimented with more abstract and awkward compositions that helped me understand how composition and framing affects the meaning of the photo. As I developed, I shifted toward using people and body language to communicate emotion more clearly. I began blurring face. So this image was through one of our practice weeks, and this is how I started blurring my images, because it was to make the image feel not as personal, more as broad as it can be more than just one person. My portfolio is based off the Sweet Boy album by Malcolm Todd. It is where each image is kind of inspired by a different song and their emotional meaning as a teenage boy, I think. And so instead of directly illustrating the lyrics, I focused on translating the emotional tone of each song into the visual moment of the photo. As I built the series, I became more intentional with composition, lighting, and subject, creating a progression that reflects a emotional growth over time. This image, Lady Girl, focuses on identity and perception, especially the uncertainty in how someone is seen versus how they see themselves. The composition and tone are meant to feel slightly uncomfortable, but reflecting that tension of kind of just being alone in a relationship. Thailand. This image uses more space and environment to show emotional distance. Even though the setting is open, the subject should feel disconnected, which reflects the idea of kind of being physically present but emotionally removed. I wanted to portray kind of wishing to be somewhere else, like a vacation or something on the phone, which is why it's more of a warm tone on the face. Sweet Boy. This image captures a private moment of vulnerability. The framing through the doorway and the use of the mirror create a sense of distance, like the viewer is observing something that isn't meant to be seen. It emphasizes emotional softness that usually isn't expressed as openly as some people want it to be. This is one of my selected images. I revamped my old on my shoulder into this. And so this piece represents pressure and responsibility over schoolwork and just life in general as you grow up. And instead of showing emotion directly, I used posture and physical positioning to suggest the weight of everything that you go through. And it reflects how pressure is often internalized rather than expressed, so you never really truly know what someone is experiencing or feeling. This is Sore Throat. This image focuses on emotional restraint and the inability to fully express what someone is feeling. And so the setting and composition create a sense of tension as if something is building and not being released. And so I used the shower head to have the shower actually on to kind of emphasize the feeling of emotional turmoil when you grow up inside your mind, body. For me. This image represents independence and chosen solitude. Unlike isolation, this moment feels controlled and intentional, showing a shift from dependence to more of self-reliance on your ideas. Art House. This one also came from an older photo in the year. We did a week where I did awkward framing and kind of awkward, uncomfortable photos. And so this piece is more symbolic and reflects on creative identity within a person that they really forget once they grow up, because usually you have like band, art, or like choir when you're in middle school. And so the subject represents an expression, but the way it's present suggests distance or disconnection from that part of oneself. It connects back on the idea of trying to understand where you fit creatively. And overall, this portfolio really helped me shift from simply taking photos to creating work with a sense of meaning and a sense of expression. So I developed a better understanding of how to use visual elements to communicate my ideas, and I became more intentional and focused as an artist when I started to build on top of my work over the year. And so these are my quote-unquote 8 progress photos / selected works that I wanted to choose for this presentation, because it was the images I think that's meant more of an emotional arc or kind of built on top of each other for the story. And so if y'all didn't see enough of this, there's a little board out there with all of my images. Most of them are on here. And yeah, thank you.
Wait, don't walk away, because I've got questions. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
So I want to get closer. I can't quite see. Good enough. So the titles were the same titles of this album? Is that?
Yes.
Okay,
And
so
so each one's the same title of one of the songs in the albums.
And
And each piece tried to include it with like Art House there. I have the title right here, trying to blend it in. Sore throat, not easy to see, but it's on my arm, on my shoulders. They're on my shoulders. Sweet Boy's on the door. Thailand, it's up here, a bit hard to see with lighting. Lady Girl, easy to see. And him.
Yes.
Yes.
So I had a follow-up question from that. I was wondering about how you chose this topic and when you chose this topic. Were you looking to illustrate something? Are you interested in like going into a career where you might work with musicians or yeah?
It probably doesn't illustrate my future as working with musicians. I would say I don't know if the word actually exists, but I call myself a musicaholic. So I'm really into music. I like listening to albums, and this album really, I liked it so much I kept on listening to it on repeat. We've all had some experiences, and so I wanted to spread my love for this artist and their direct music.
Yeah, you did it. I used your QR code.
And how, since you were just in the play and you were sitting there, like your role in the musical play was just sitting here listening to music, so it's all coming full circle. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah.
How many times did you reshoot the shower picture?
Ooh, I think it took like 2-3 times.
Okay.
It was actually cold that photo right there. Yeah.
What were the albums that you had it narrowed down to that you ultimately picked this one?
So I had Certified by Malcolm Todd. I think I had one of Steely Dan's albums. I don't remember which one. And then I think I had Beatles for one of them as well.
What made you choose this one over the other two?
Again, I listened to this album more. I had more of not a quote unquote a connection with it. Yeah.
When did you start working on this project? I saw there was like some snow.
So throughout the year, the first semester we did every week was a different assignment, kind of getting you prepared to work on your composition, your ideas, your themes, trying to portray that through the images. And so at the end of our first semester, we were given the idea of you should come back with an idea after spring break. And so I thought really hard. I was listening to this album so much when I was thinking really hard, and it clicked for me. It allowed me to portray my love for music as much as it really is. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite photo?
I think this one actually went really well, even though it's more recently shot. Yeah, see?
To what degree, like, your artworks are, personal, or like, is it like more universal? Because I also like draw the, inspiration from other artists, and when you're doing like these inspirations from this album, like, to what degree is like more personal, or it's more from artists?
I definitely think there was a sense of personal click with it, but I think a lot of it was with my idea of blurring the face. It was more of a, or not showing the face in this image, it was more of a kind of portraying what all young teenage guys go through when they grow up. They're experiencing middle school, high school, and just kind of their emotional growth and maturity throughout the years.
In middle school, for the homework assignments, one of the homework assignments is pick a lyric from a song or a song and make a visual representation of it. And that's the one that the most kids do. And I just think so many kids just love listening to music and put this visual to it. It's just beautiful.
It connects the world. It allows everyone to experience each other.